At 8 a.m. on March 20th, 1995, Tokyo's subway system, the lifeblood of the city, was bustling with commuters. In a matter of minutes, this scene of ordinary morning routine would descend into a scene of unimaginable horror. This is the story of the Tokyo subway Sarin attack, an event that shattered Japan's sense of security and revealed the dark potential of a doomsday cult. The attack was orchestrated by OEM, which translates to Supreme Truth. At first glance, OEM looked like many other New Age spiritual movements. It blended elements of Buddhism, Hinduism, and apocalyptic Christian prophecies. Its leader, Shoko Asahara, a charismatic but partially blind former yoga instructor, promised his followers spiritual enlightenment and supernatural powers. He claimed he could levitate and read minds, attracting thousands of disillusioned young people, including highly educated scientists and engineers from Japan's top universities. They were searching for meaning in a society they felt was materialistic and empty. But behind the facade of spiritual awakening, a much darker reality was taking shape. Asahara's teachings became increasingly paranoid and apocalyptic. He predicted a final world war, a nuclear Armageddon that only he and his followers would survive. To prepare for this prophecy, Om Shinrikyo began to transform. It wasn't just a spiritual group anymore. It was becoming a paramilitary organization, stockpiling weapons and, most terrifyingly, producing chemical and biological agents on a massive scale. Their compound at the foot of Mount Fuji became a fortress, a state within a state. Here, in secret laboratories, Ome's scientists, who had once sworn to use their knowledge for good, were now working to create weapons of mass destruction. They experimented with anthrax, botulism, and VX gas. But their most successful and deadly creation was sarin, a nerve agent so potent that a single drop can be fatal. Before the subway attack, OEM had already committed several crimes, including kidnappings, assassinations of critics, and even a smaller-scale sarin attack in the city of Matsumoto a year earlier, which killed 8 people. But law enforcement was slow to connect the dots, struggling to comprehend that a religious group could be capable of such organized violence. As police pressure began to mount in early 1995, Asahara felt cornered. He decided to unleash chaos on the capital, hoping to distract authorities and trigger the apocalyptic war he had prophesied. The plan was chillingly simple. 5 two-man teams were selected for the mission. Each team would board a different subway train headed for Kasumigaseki Station, the heart of Japan's government district. The attackers carried plastic bags filled with liquid sarin, wrapped in newspaper. At a designated time, they would drop the bags onto the floor of the crowded train cars and puncture them with the sharpened tips of their umbrellas before disembarking at the next station, leaving a silent, invisible killer behind. As the trains continued their journey, the sarin began to evaporate, filling the enclosed cars with a colorless, odorless poison. The effects were immediate and devastating. Commuters suddenly found themselves gasping for air, their vision blurring, their muscles convulsing. Panic erupted. People collapsed, choking and foaming at the mouth. As one survivor described it, it was like a scene from hell. The air turned thick, and darkness seemed to close in as people struggled to see and breathe. When the trains pulled into stations, chaos spilled onto the platforms. People stumbled out of the cars, their eyes streaming with tears, collapsing onto the ground. Station attendants and fellow passengers, with no idea what was happening, crusade to help, only to become victims themselves through secondary exposure. The subway system, a symbol of Japanese efficiency, ground to a halt. Emergency services were overwhelmed, and hospitals were flooded with patients showing bizarre and terrifying symptoms that doctors had never seen before. The initial confusion was immense. Was it an explosion? A toxic leak? It took hours for authorities to identify the substance as sarin. In the end, the attack killed 13 people and injured over 6,000, leaving many with permanent neurological damage, chronic pain, and psychological trauma that haunts them to this day. The image of unconscious victims being carried out of subway stations became a defining moment of horror for a generation. The aftermath was a massive manhunt for Shoko Asahara, and the perpetrators. For 2 months, he remained a fugitive, hiding in a secret chamber within the OM compound. When police finally broke through a wall and found him, The self-proclaimed enlightened master was discovered alone with stacks of cash and junk food. The man who promised to lead his followers to a higher plane was just a criminal hiding from justice. The trials that followed lasted 4 years, exposing the full extent of Oma's crimes and the psychological manipulation that led intelligent people to commit heinous acts. Key members, including the scientists who produced the Sarin and the men who released it, were sentenced to death. In 2018, Shoko Asahara and 12 of his senior disciples were executed, bringing a final, somber chapter to the story. But the legacy of the Tokyo subway attack endures. It forced Japan and the world to confront the terrifying reality of domestic terrorism and the potential for cults to weaponize belief. It led to stricter laws governing religious organizations and new protocols for responding to chemical attacks. For the survivors and the families of the victims, the scars remain. People like Shizu Takahashi, whose husband was a subway worker who died after removing a sarin packet from a train, became a powerful voice for the victims, ensuring that the world would not forget what happened that day. The story of Om Shinrikyo is a tragic reminder of how the search for meaning and belonging can be twisted into a path of destruction. It shows how charismatic leaders can exploit vulnerability, turning hope into hate and devotion into violence. The supreme truth that Om Shinrikyo offered was not one of enlightenment, but a dark and deadly lie, one that left an indelible stain on the heart of Tokyo. Thank you for watching. If you found this story important, please like this video and subscribe for more deep dives into historical events.